Of the big impact rock stars, what does it mean to be a big impact rock star, right? What does it mean? It means to go from imagine where you are right now, of lost and confused, spinning your wheels, whether it's your niche, your message, maybe you're getting clients, but it's inconsistent, and you're like, I need help. So then they make the big, bold decision to join the tribe. And it's not like a straight success arrow, okay? It's not like, yay, wee! There's ups and downs, and, like May Vu, one of our Rockstar royalty, she said, you know what it means to be a rock star? It means you play with rocks, and you get bloody, okay? You get bloody, and your knees get banged up, and it's hard. But we have the tribe, and we have support, and we have mentorship. Okay? And so what it means to be a big impact rock star is they didn't give up on their dreams.
Tenacity, baby.
Tenacity.
Courage.
Determination. No, they against all odds. Okay? And, maybe they have an unsupportive spouse, or maybe they don't even have a spouse. Maybe they're doing this all on their own, or they've got little ones, or whatever the scenario is.
They got a huge credit card debt.
Totally. They did not necessarily even have the money to come up with it, right? They found a way. And in addition to tenacity and determination and not giving up on their dreams, they have had profound successes. So we wanted them to share their story with you. Hopefully it will inspire you.
Get the tissues ready.
Yeah, you will see yourself in them. So
now remember when Tommy Lee came up and said, let's make some fucking noise?
Yes.
Yeah.
All right, let's rock this place like the Oakland Coliseum. Can
Let's
we do that
welcome the big impact rock stars.
Hang on. We want to rock it. And you guys, what they've been through, they deserve to be acknowledged like rock stars.
That's right.
Let's rock the house.
Let's stand on up and make some
fucking noise! Yeah! So imagine what it'd be like to have all that fear and doubt and then to be acknowledged for it to be up here right now. It's really, really remarkable. We're so happy for all of you guys, and more importantly, I just think we're thrilled at the fact that you're impacting lives like you never have before. I think that's just to be able to see you and your individual gifts at work in the world just touches my heart.
Mm-hmm. We're so proud of you guys.
Yeah.
Amazing. All right, well, let's take the sunglasses off and we'll share your stories with everybody. I know, right? Rock stars wear sunglasses. Yes, that's right. That's right. All right, Miss Joanne, so tell them what you do and just what are you most proud of within yourself? Just go ahead and share.
My name is Joanne Butcher. I work with independent filmmakers to create films that change the world and make money.
Yes. Yes.
If there's any set of people with money issues, it's artists.
You know, but look at the impact that can have, because when they're able to make a film, that film touches everybody who watches it.
Well, in the courtroom cleansing today, I realized that the violence that I come from in my home leads me to really want to fight injustice. And so there is no more powerful way in this world today than to use film. Beautiful. Telling your story visually is the way to go.
Yeah. And where were you when you were in their shoes and in their seats when you first came to us?
Well, my story that's in there in the book, I don't remember what page it's on, but read that because that sums it up. So I had been too sick to work for 7 years when I came here, and I was talking about how could I sign up, because I knew that I needed it. I had 5 websites that I had never launched because I did Reiki and I was a shaman and I did and I was pretty good at making websites. And so I just found them all the other day. I was like, oh my God. And there was about a year before I met you, I had realized this was just spinning my wheels. There was no point to quit. But I didn't think about the fact that there was an alternative, So I heard Mark and Shannon speak, and I was like, oh, this is it. I know I need this. However, after 7 years of not working, I had lost everything. And I had just started this little part-time job. I'd had to ask my father to help me pay my rent in March. I met you guys in May, and he had shamed me to such an extent. And I was so ill, I thought that, this thing of hoping to get back to work, and it's not going to work. I'm going to have to go on disability after all. And so I'm talking about starting the program, and there was a deposit to be paid, and I said, I don't have that money. And so it was like, well, do you have half that? And I was like, no. And they said, well, how much money do you have? And I said, I have $204, and that's my food for the month. And it's funny because I heard somebody say one time, I don't think it's right that there's people standing up and talking about how they have nothing and then they sign up for this program. And I was like, you know what? That was me. And if I had not taken the risk that I took, which was handing over my food money, I wouldn't be here today.
Amen.
I wouldn't be serving clients who I love. I have one of my clients here. Where's he? One of my clients is here. I'll tell you this in private between us now. I don't love my clients. I adore my clients. I hear people say they have trouble with their clients. I'm like, who are you working with?
Yeah.
I talk to filmmakers all day, every day about filmmaking. It's all I care about. And now I have a client who's making a PBS series that you will all be seeing. It's my phase 2 client, And, but, where I started, I pretty much was hopeless. And then, I was sitting here and I was like surrounded by my people because all my people are healers and they want to change the world, And I thought, and I looked around and I was like, oh, I thought we were all condemned to a life of poverty. Why are you laughing? I thought that was it. I thought, if I really did what I was called to do, it meant that we all decided and chose together to be broke and poor. I thought that was, and you were saying something else, and I was like, what? And so it was hard for me to believe it, but I believed you,
And how much revenue have you generated since you started with us?
$125,000.
Booyah!
And where are some of the places that you've been able to speak in the world?
Well, I had lived in Miami for a long time. I love Miami. These are my Miami pants. So in fact, in a month I'll be speaking at the Brazilian Film Festival in Miami, and then I'll be speaking at the Trinidad and Tobago Film Festival. I'm half Trinidadian. I'm going to be on their jury, and then I come back and I have another film festival here that I speak at, and so that's, for me, my bond is really with the Caribbean and with Latin American artists and artists from all over the world. Those are the people that I've worked with a lot, and those are the people I want to work with.
Yeah.
And I really, I say I work with filmmakers, but everybody is somebody who has a story that they want to tell. So it's like saying people, though, right?
Right.
I work with people who want to change the world.
Yeah.
And make money.
And what would you say is the biggest change that's happened to you in the process?
Now, especially when I'm in the coaching zone, which is just such a fabulous experience. Thank you so much. But, and I hear people spinning their wheels and just not knowing how they can help. I want to help. They have all this love that they want to give, and they just can't do it because they can't land on their client. And I'm just like, it hurts so much because I know exactly who I am and what I talk about. And I have this power now that I never had before.
Beautiful. Beautiful, Joanne. Awesome.
Let's hear it for Joanne.
Share with them what you do.
Okay, so my name is Jeff Bell, and I help adults who've been diagnosed with cancer to heal and get their full health back without using chemotherapy and without using radiation therapy.
Yes.
Yes. I just want to say I'm really good at it. I've been doing it a long time. So, before I came to Big Impact, actually about 6 months before I came to Big Impact, I put on a workshop, and it was a roaring success in my head, but nowhere else. I invested about $800 for this little 2-hour workshop to pay for the hotel room and other stuff that we needed. I promoted it to the best of my ability, and 4 people showed up. One of them was my wife, one of them was one of my best friends, and then 2 other people who I kind of sort of knew. That was it. I went home that night and I was so depressed that I remember going out in the backyard and doing what I do to blow off steam. I went to my scrap pile and broke boards for about an hour and just roared at Great Spirit, "Why have you done this to me? You've given me this gift of healing," because I knew I was good at it, and I am, and no way to share it with anyone. And I was just so sad. I couldn't breathe. I just felt like, I felt tortured. It just hurt so much to have this gift. I mean, would have been okay if I was a good carpenter or something, big deal. But, I help grandparents get to see their kids grow up. And to not be able to share that, and I was so angry and sad and frustrated, and I'm grateful that Howard told me to come, Howard Sample.
Yep, another rock star.
Another great rock star,
Yep,
and an awesome human being who has helped me in many ways, brought me to Big Impact. I didn't have enough money to sign up. There was no way I could do it, and yet I knew that I didn't have a choice. So I just started doing stuff and getting creative, and I remember that you were very generous, Mark, and helped me with a little bit easier payment plan, because I really didn't have enough at the time. And somehow we made it work, and here I am, and I'm just so grateful. I'm filled with gratitude for you guys, for the tribe, for finally being at peace. And I will say, this has been one of the more challenging years in my life, and I'm happier than I've ever been in my life. And the reason for that is because of the inner game work that we've done.
Yeah.
The inner game is everything. I don't know, some people can fake it, some people can do it. I've never been very good at that. I always get busted, usually by myself. I look in the mirror and say, "What are you doing?" And It's no way to live. I can't live.
You've been
that
doing
way.
the work, brother. You've been doing the work.
And then share with them how much money have you generated?
Oh, so as of 2 days ago, I'm at 236,000 since I came. I really want to share this. My ultimate vision, because I believe I have been gifted with downloads direct from Great Spirit on how to help people heal from a very difficult condition. My ultimate goal is to build a clinic that is a teaching facility so that three things happen. People can come to get healed, and people who are very well-to-do can make donations so people who can't afford it can still get the healing that they need. And I want to gather together other practitioners so we can get even better at what we do, so that we can make it a teaching facility as well, and so that we leave a legacy behind so that this continues to grow as a movement in real health from the core level.
And Jeff, you've done a lot of other programs. So
I have.
what makes Big Impact University different than
what a
anything
great
else?
question. Yeah, thanks. I would say the really tight integration between the business practices, the business strategies, and the inner game. There's always some open loops, as we would call them, in the other programs I've been in, where you kind of have to feel like you're acting out of integrity because there's some inner game thing that hasn't been addressed, even acknowledged, and then because you're out of integrity, if you have the sensitivity to have anything really worth offering, you can't deliver it because you're out of integrity. And the other thing that is monster huge is sequencing. I was doing everything from phase 1 to phase 10 and didn't even know it. And I blew lots of money and lots of time and effort doing things that were insane for me to be doing from a business standpoint. So those are the things that really
I love that awareness, and I'm just seeing you become better and better as a businessman, as an entrepreneur, and you're a fantastic speaker. You're gifted. It's really great to watch you blossom.
Thank you, and I'm so grateful. And to everybody who makes it happen, because everybody, I mean, this is what makes it happen, is community.
Yes, yes.
Community is
Awesome.
Let's hear it for Jeff!
Dawn, you look gorgeous.
Well, thank you. I got the memo.
Yeah.
Right? I got the turquoise memo, so thank you.
So share with them what you do.
All right, so I free women from low energy and digestive distress. So what I find is people are spending a lot of time trying to manage their illness and not feeling good, and it's taking a huge chunk out of their quality of life. So I help them get better fast so they can get their lives back.
Awesome. And when you were in their seats, where were you at?
Yeah, so I had been in business 3 years when I got here. I had transitioned careers mid-career, gone back to grad school, turned down these massive promotions, moved across the country, gave up a 6-figure income. Here I was in my business for 3 years, and it was not going well. I was barely getting by. So I had burned through my 40 grand in savings. I had $15,000 in credit card debt. I had taken a job as a catering server, and just let me share with you my rationale around this. So I'm making 20 bucks an hour, and I'm thinking, okay, I can be a catering server, and then I'll move up and I'll be a restaurant server. And I can do that for a long time to support myself for God knows how long before this business gets off the ground. And so I'm like, I'm catering at these weddings and these female entrepreneur events. And these people, I look at them as they're my peers, and they're, I'm a server, so they're just not really seeing me. And it was really humbling and devastating. And besides the fact that the life catering servers are like laughing at me because I'm a terrible catering server. I'm so bad at it. So I was desperate, and I felt like I felt like Spirit had put this calling into me and left me there to just wither and not be able to make it, and it just felt like a really, really cruel joke. So, and I still feel some shame around this, but I want to share this with you because this is the stuff that they don't talk about in entrepreneur circles. I mean, I was a successful business person before I start, in corporate. And they don't talk about how hard this is in a lot of circles. And so anyways, so I want to share that with you, even though it's really hard. It's still hard for me. So I felt a really strong yes with you two as mentors. I felt like I was divinely guided here. And I said to myself, well, you know what happened the last time you didn't listen to your intuition when it was really strong. So okay, I'll do it. And then, so to make this happen, I had to pull the money out of my IRA, and that was a line that I said I would never cross. I said to myself, if you cross that line, you have to give this up. But the intuition was so strong that I said, you know what? Okay, I'm gonna do this one more thing, and it's gotta work. It's just gotta work, because this is crossing the line, but I just gotta give it one more shot. And so the team talked me through as I was crying and having, my ego was screaming, and my intuition was like, yes, you have to do this. And I signed up.
Yay.
Yes.
And what happened since then? How much have you made, and what has that made possible?
Yeah, so in the last year, and you guys don't know this, I just realized this yesterday when I was talking to someone, I have made more in the last year than I did in the previous 3 years combined.
Wow.
Okay, so, and I added it up last night just to be sure, and yeah, it's more. So I have made $105,000.
Yeah.
I'm a nutritionist, right? And there's a lot of people out there charging like $80 an hour, doing trades and all that kind of stuff. And so I'm able to see like people that have been suffering for decades get their lives back and be with them in that process. And the inner game was really helpful. I have increased confidence. I do better with my strategy sessions. I can take a stand for what I can offer. Got my money shit is way better. And the system is just amazing. You can just hit the ground with the system. And then there's the inner work to support you along the way, like Jeff was saying. Oh, and I won a Best of Oakland award. Right?
Oh, yeah. That's awesome. That's awesome.
Fantastic job.
Let's hear it for Don Presendorf. Good for you. Yeah, I don't think the Dawn that came to us would have been willing to step forward and drink that up. Good for you. Good for you. Yeah.
Yes. Awesome.
Brother Alexis.
Soul brother Alexis.
Love.
Alexis was our DJ in our wedding. Yeah. So he was at our wedding too. Yeah. Awesome. But tell him what you do for your career and your business.
So I work with artists, healers, and conscious entrepreneurs who are struggling with joy and clarity of true purpose. It's been a long journey, and I've seen a lot, I've found out a lot, and what I've seen is that this demographic of artists, healers, and conscious entrepreneurs struggle with overwhelm, and even overwhelm of possibility. Because as light workers, we know everything is possible, and that can overwhelm us. And we can also get deluded into thinking that if we pick one path, we will limit our freedom. And also, what I've seen over and over is that we get stuck in this beginning to wait, we get stuck in a mindset of waiting to begin our real life. As if we need one more certificate or one more approval to give ourselves a permission to really start our life's work. And what I believe we all want is a joyful life, full of peace and full of financial abundance, doing what we love. And if we can have a sacred partner on that path, that's a huge bonus.
So where were you when you came to us, brother?
Oh my God.
Oh boy, Alexis has come a long way.
Yeah, I was, so I had spent 7 years chasing this dream of becoming a personal development coach with a huge international company. And I had spent so much time and energy with this company thinking that this was the rest of my life. I wanted to make an impact, I wanted to have deep meaning in my life, and this is what I was going to do. And then the last year of that, I realized that this company wasn't in alignment with me and that my essence could not shine in this environment. But because I didn't believe myself worthy enough or capable enough of going out on my own and doing it by myself, I kept stepping over my own truth for a year. And that caused so much pain till eventually I cut the cord and I began to pray. I hit a wall. I had spent many years battling with deep sadness and a deep darkness. And I thought that through the power of my mind and my will, if I just tried hard enough and worked and efforted hard enough, I could bust through and literally exorcise this darkness, this sadness from my being, this emotional stuckness that kept me spinning my wheels. And when I cut that cord, I began to pray because I was like, God, I don't know what else to do. I've been spending 20 years doing personal development work and modalities and yoga and meditating on mountains and spending thousands of dollars, and I can't get rid of this stuckness. Please, I desire holy wholeness. Please show me how to believe in myself. And please send me someone that can send me these step-by-step business tools that I need, but that understand this is a spiritual mission I'm on. I'm not just here to make a profit and money. That's not my end game, is to make a difference, and I want to make an abundant living doing that. But I want to work with someone who gets that core, the spiritual core of the mission, and then will teach me the tools to pour spirit into. And then I was invited to Big Impact Live. I promised myself there was no way.
Anything else in the tribe? Where you at? Oh yeah. Totally.
I literally made a vow to myself that I wasn't signing up for anything because it was a time for action. It was a time for results. It wasn't a time to get ready to begin my real life. And then at the end of the third day, I was like, God damn it. And I had a big teaching moment at that moment, which was, I was praying for exactly what you guys are and what Big Impact embodies. It was like, oh my God, it's exactly what I was praying for. And then I went to spiritual bypassing, and I was like, God, if I should do this, will you send me a sign? And God was like, this is it, you're in the sign. It's here for you. And so, when I did break my vow, it was because it was in a higher alignment with a higher purpose and a higher calling.
Nice.
To make a big impact.
Yeah.
And I promised myself that I was going to work as hard as I could to make my $5,000-$6,000 back.
He signed up, 2 years ago with us?
Yes, 2 years ago.
Yeah.
2 years ago, I've been in this lovely, lovely tribe for 2 years, and it's the highest vibe tribe out there. I'm really, really, really happy to say that even though I sat in your seat and I saw these rock stars and I saw you guys, I was like, there's no way I would ever be up on that stage. I don't even think I can make $5,000 back on this. To me, $5,000 at that time was like doing what I love and doing my spiritual mission to get that back. I don't deserve that. That would never happen. And so I made my promise that I at least am going to make $5,000 back. And if I do that, then I have honored my vow. And in these 2 years, I've made $95,000.
What's it feel like to proclaim that you made $95,000 in front of a group of people? I mean, did you ever even imagine that before?
No. I had so much money shit. You mentioned...
Tell us a little bit about your father and the money shit that you had.
So, my dad is a Catholic monk who lives in Rome. And before he met my mother, he had already been on the spiritual path as a monk, decided he needed a little bit more life experience, so he decided to take a 35-year detour, make some humans, get married, have a profession as a college professor, and then completed that marriage, and he went back to it. But I basically grew up in a chapel. My house was full of religious iconography, and so when I came here, I had never once ever even had the thought, you said this, Mark, make business your spiritual practice. When I heard that, it was like a diamond descended into my being and opened up a whole new world of possibility that I had never even considered. And I needed to be in this tribe and go through the university to work through all that muck and all that shame and all that disconnect that we have with money and spirituality. Money is energy, and it can be sacred. It's your relationship to it. And I hadn't considered that. And I hadn't considered that there was a tribe of people on this planet Earth that I could feel total being seen, feel a total sense of belonging and collaboration with all of these amazing beings that we all are doing our specific personal mission. I didn't even know you guys existed. And then I came here and saw that, felt that belonging, which gives you bottomless inspiration, and made business my spiritual practice.
Beautiful, Alexis.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Awesome.
Let's hear it for Alexis!
Take it home, baby. Tell them what you do. Where were you before? Is it hot? Yeah, you're on. Oh, you're hot, baby. Hot. Yes.
My name is Tracy Thompson, and I help conscious entrepreneurs, coaches, and speakers have powerful, authentic conversations with their prospective clients that effortlessly convert into high-paying clients they love. Yay! Right. And where was I? Oh my gosh. I was like Alexis. I was sitting in that audience going, oh no, not another program. I had been through so many up to this point. And I've learned a lot, and I felt like, all right, I just need to make it happen now. I just need to do it. It's time for action. It's not time for another program. And I'd struggled for 3 years after having a diagnosis of stage 3 cancer 5 years ago, and deciding I was going to heal myself, which was really unpopular. And I did that, and I felt like my spiritual calling was telling me to be a health and healing coach. And I felt such a responsibility to that. And it was blocking me, and I didn't know that it was blocking me. So I was trying to monetize my calling, right? And when Mark and Shannon took the stage, and I could see how they were demonstrating spirituality as a business practice, and that the stealth transformation was the spiritual inner game part, I realized if something shifted, first of all, that you were my mentors, that this was the tribe, mixing what seemed to be disparate before, concepts and ideas, being sexy and having that kind of creative energy, and having business and structure and systems, and spirituality and money together. And it didn't happen right away, but, well, when I was sitting right there, I'm like, nope, I'm not doing this. I'm not going to do another program, no matter how amazing you all were. I was like, no, just put on your shades and don't look at the light, don't look at the light. You had me in tears, Mark, from the moment you stood on this stage and you asked all the men to stand up. The first time he did that, he asked the men to hold space for us, women. And I was in tears in 5 minutes, and I'm like, dang it, stop that. You're not going to get me, put on your shades, go look, go look. But I knew that I was in the right place at the right time, for the right reason. And it took a little while for the niche to claim me. I got permission to step into my genius zone and support coaches like this man, who's on his mission, and that's my mission. And so I can now edify and support and help those passion-driven coaches and experts monetize what they do and not feel shame around it and feel empowered and be the, I like to say, to be the money launderer for God. Clean up, right? Clean up the money shit and still be in your calling.
Yeah, that's great. All right, so speaking of money, how much have you made?
Since I started, I've made $162,000. Woo! And I want to say one interesting thing is, as soon as I let go of resistance to the niche I knew that was calling me, and I stepped into it, in 3 months, I generated $53,000 in 3 months with no website, no lead magnet, no opt-ins, right? No logo, nothing. Just a group of 80 people that I had connected with, I made a connection with, and had cultivated by showing up and speaking to them every single week and being of service, because you taught me that, to show up and be of service first. And that's how that happened when I finally got it and it clicked.
And then you mentioned you've done a lot of programs. I know a lot of you guys, I mean, Mark and I have too. You've done a lot of programs. So for those people who have done a lot of programs and they're like, I'm not buying anything, what makes Big Impact University different, and why should they consider it? Why should they say yes?
Such a great question. And when I say I've done programs, I mean, I probably could beat anybody in this room. Like, we're talking a lot of money in 3 years of my time. I would say the number one thing, that, other than what I just said, the spirit and the full integration of making business a spiritual practice, that was number one for me. Your leadership, showing up in walking their walk, walking their talk, was systems. Having a step-by-step systems. Sequencing, I said it right. Instead of doing phase 3 things and phase 2 things and not having any one of those mastered well enough, it wasn't working. So that's absolutely the number one thing that you will step away with. And it's not just knowing it, it's getting to do it in this program. You actually get it done You don't theorize about it. You don't talk about it anymore. You don't just go, well, you know, that niche thing, that sounds really good. I'll go home and do that someday. No, you do it. And you show up and you get it done.
Beautiful, Tracy. Yeah, we lovingly hold you accountable and keep resistance at bay, and we have checkpoints along the way, so there's built-in accountability along the way to kind of protect you from your own self, right? As human beings, right? Like, we need that, so awesome.
So this is a sampling of the remarkable people that are called to be a part of this tribe, and it's really, I mean, it blows me away, the work that you guys are willing to do. I can see that you're guided by something deeper, and you're doing the inner work, you're doing what it takes to live your calling, and it just fills me up. So proud to know you and be a part of your journey.
So proud, so proud. So let's give them a big impact rockstar. Yay! Awesome, guys. Way to go. And there's several people in the room that I wanted to give a shout out to. You know, we only have 5 seats. I mean, shit, we need like 60 seats on the panel because